Hey everyone, Ian here, artist and game designer on Crimson Keep, and I just wanted to give you guys another update on how the game's going. So we had a pretty exciting January and February. We were putting out some trailers privately about the game and working on some of the visual polish in the game in January, and we managed to find a publisher. So we'll be working with Merge Games. And they've helped to fund the game and are going to help us release it on Steam and Windows and hopefully even more platforms at some point. So that's pretty exciting. Very happy about that. The new features in the game since the last video I'll start to show off here. Alright, so the first thing, as you click New Game, you now have this like a temporary selection thing for which class you want to play. When the game comes out, we're looking at having 3 classes. These are the 3 classes. We're still designing these and working on these right now, but the selection is in and the infrastructure is going into the game right now to support multiple classes with different stats, abilities, and perks and all that. So let's go ahead and pick Berserker. So one of the biggest features is shields. I'll go ahead and equip a shield. There's also a couple changes to the UI. If you look here, the left shift ability, which is the dodge ability, is now visible on screen. A lot of people seem to skip over some of these tutorial signs. So, I mean, we may flesh out the tutorial more in the future. I'm not sure how we're going to deal with that yet. But it seems like having all the things you can do on screen seems to be a pretty good method to convey that to the player as well. So hopefully people will use the dodge more. And then also with other classes, it's going to be a different ability, most likely. So it's always going to be kind of an escape ability or something. So that's cool. We're also going to add the left-click basic attack here somewhere too, and show that, because some weapons like the twig, which is a wand, one of the wands, it now will use charges, and we want to convey the charges, so probably putting that right here with the like a picture of the item or something would be best for that. And wands are going to be, or catalysts or whatever we're calling them, are going to be one of the staples of the next class we're working on, which is the witch. But wands use charges now because they were a little too powerful. See, we got into this situation with wands where you either make them really powerful. If they're really powerful, they're fun to use, right? But if they're really powerful, they're a dominant strategy, which you don't want. So you want to nerf them, right? And keep them unlimited charges or whatever, and tie them to the class and the skills of the class. But then you end up making wands not good. But then they're not as fun. So I think the right course of action was to change it so there's charges, so I can no longer use the wand. See? But then the class that specializes in wands, similar to the mage in Diablo 1, where they had a recharge ability. I'm planning on doing something like that, where they're able to recharge their wands. There's also going to be other ways to recharge wands, like scrolls and other things you find in other roguelikes, classic roguelikes. So let's go on to shields. So if you look at, you're holding a normal weapon, right? If you're holding just one weapon, you always have this alternate ability on your right mouse button. So the axe one is power chop, extra strong chopping attack. It just does extra damage, and it charges up like everything else through killing. But if you equip a shield, it replaces that alternate ability. So instead of an extra attack, you have extra defense. And shields use kind of a stamina meter, which you can see over the icon. It's a crappy icon right now. Doesn't look like a shield, but shields are pretty neat. They block all the damage from the direction you're facing. Melee attacks and physical attacks. So like arrows, all melee attacks. Like I don't think it'll block fireballs and stuff like that. But maybe we can make a special shield in the future that does. But right now, shields are mainly for physical type attacks. The shield blocks all the damage, but there's a couple caveats. Let's see if I can get this shield to break. So every shield, when it blocks an attack, has a chance to break. There, it broke. So shields also have a strength rating. So like a higher tier shield will have a lower chance to break. But shields will always have a chance to break. That strength rating also comes into play from enemies. So enemies on their different attacks, like as you're fighting higher tier enemies, they have the ability to break shields. So there's like 5 tiers of shields, and their strength will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So like maybe if you're on the 3rd area, every enemy attack has a strength of like a shield breaker strength of like 2, so that the 1st tier shield is basically no longer useful. Or we could do it like you're fighting a boss and they have multiple attacks, of course. And one of those attacks is a shield breaker attack. Maybe it's slow, has a different wind up, it stands out in some way, but you know that for that attack you can't block it. So, I'm not getting very many enemies with blood here. I was going to show off the blood a little more, talk about that. Not getting any enemies with blood. There's also a new explosion type thing when you open barrels. Makes it a little more satisfying. We're also still working on new sounds and sound effects. I was recently working on the shield sounds for blocking. So here's some of the blood. And you can also see there's little decals on the enemy itself. It's more noticeable if you're fighting like a pigman. Maybe noticeable in this guy. You can see little decals on the actual enemy though, which is neat. And then of course they hit the ground as well. So it's just there to make combat a little more, exciting, visceral. Oh. Dumped on the apple. 2 rockmen. That's what we got going on. Pretty exciting. There'll be more information in the write-up with the video. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.